Hello, my dear friends. I'm so glad you're here with me today. You could be anywhere right now, but you chose to spend this time with me. And that means a lot. I want you to feel welcome, comfortable, and at home. So, take a deep breath. Settle in. We're going to talk about something deeply human. Something that can build bridges in relationships or, if missing, leave us feeling a little lost. Today, we're talking about the power of touch and love. Not just any touch, but the kind that speaks directly to the heart. Now, before we go further, let me say this: touch isn't only about romance. It's about connection. It's about saying, I see you, I'm here with you, you matter to me, without even speaking a word. For some people, touch is the loudest way they hear love. For others, it's a language they don't even realize they're speaking. And for a few, it might be a language they've been missing for years without knowing why. Imagine for a moment you're holding a baby. You don't talk to that baby about mortgage rates or tomorrow's weather. You simply hold them. They feel your warmth, your steady heartbeat. They relax because they know they're safe. That's the simplest form of touch. And guess what? Even when we're 60, 70, or 90, a part of us still longs for that same reassurance. I remember meeting a woman in her 70s. She told me her husband wasn't much for words. He never said, I love you often. But every morning, without fail, he'd put his hand on her back as they drank their coffee. She said that gentle gesture was more powerful than 1,000 sentences. She knew, in that moment, that she was cherished. That's the magic of touch. Some people feel most loved through a hug at the door. Others feel it when their hand is held during a walk. For some, it's a playful shoulder squeeze while cooking together. These moments may seem small, but they leave deep impressions. They remind us that we are not alone in the world. Now, not everyone understands this love language. If touch is not your natural way of expressing love, you might wonder why your partner wants to hold hands all the time, or why they seem disappointed when you don't cuddle on the couch. And if you're someone who needs touch to feel loved, you might misread the lack of it as rejection, when really, your partner just speaks a different language. That's where patience and understanding come in. One gentleman I spoke to once said he thought his wife wanted hugs just because she was the cuddly type. He didn't realize that for her, each hug was like filling her emotional fuel tank. Without it, she felt empty. Once he understood, he began giving those hugs more often, not out of duty, but out of love. And their relationship warmed in ways he hadn't expected. If touch is your main way of receiving love, it's important to share that openly. Don't assume your partner can read your mind. You might say, when you hold my hand, I feel close to you, or a hug from you makes my day. These little statements can help the other person understand what truly matters to you. And if touch isn't your first language, don't worry. It's something you can learn. You can practice. Just like you'd learn to say, I love you in another language, you can learn to express it through touch. Start with small gestures, a gentle touch on the arm, a pat on the back, a kiss on the cheek. Over time, these little moments become natural. Touch can be healing, too. Life brings stress, illness, and sadness. A simple hand on the shoulder can say, I'm here with you, in a way no words can. I've seen people in hospital rooms who couldn't speak due to illness, but they squeezed the hand of a loved one, and that said everything. Of course, touch should always be respectful and wanted. This isn't about forcing closeness. It's about offering warmth in ways the other person welcomes. That's why it's so important to talk about it, to listen, and to notice how someone responds. Here's something you might find interesting. When couples have been together for decades, the way they touch often becomes its own quiet ritual. A shared glance, a hand on the knee, leaning into each other while sitting side by side. These are small acts that say, we belong together. Think about the people in your life right now. Who might need more touch from you? Maybe it's a spouse, maybe a grandchild, maybe even a friend going through a hard time. Sometimes, a hug can mean more than 100 pieces of advice. And friends, if you're listening to this and you're thinking, but I live alone. I don't have anyone to share that kind of touch with, I hear you. That can be hard. But there are still ways to fill your life with healthy, loving touch. Pet a dog or cat. Hold your own hands in a moment of stillness and breathe. Wrap yourself in a warm blanket. Visit friends or join a group where safe, friendly hugs are shared. Touch can be found in many forms, and it still nourishes the soul. Touch is a reminder that love is not just a thought in the mind, it is an experience felt in the body. It says, I'm here, you're safe, and you matter. And that's something every single one of us deserves to feel. So, as you go about your day, I encourage you to think about how you can offer more of this gift. Maybe it's a hug to a family member. Maybe it's holding your partner's hand just a little longer. Maybe it's simply resting your hand on someone's shoulder when they're tired. Those moments may feel small to you, but they could mean the world to them. Before we close today, I want to thank you for listening. If this message touched your heart in more ways than one, please like this video, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe so we can keep exploring these beautiful ways of loving together. Your presence here matters, and I'm grateful for it. Remember this, love is not just something we say, it's something we live. And sometimes, the gentlest touch can be the loudest way to say, I love you. Until next time, take care, stay connected, and never underestimate the power of a warm hand in yours.